Across Cayman on FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is Bobo 103.1. Powered by Health Services Authority. Committed to caring for you. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of Stingray Media, its staff, or contributors. Callers to the program accept full responsibility for the views expressed. The show host and affiliates are not liable for any statements made or any harm claimed. All callers to the program indemnify Straight Talk from all claims. Offensive, defamatory, or unlawful content will not be tolerated. Be a part of the conversation by calling 745-2626. Now, here's Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio on Bobo 103.1.
And hello, K-Man, and good evening, and welcome to another episode of Straight Talk here on Bobo 103.1 FM. I'm your host, Austin Harris, on this, well, kind of warm outside Monday, but there's a possibility we might get some evening showers, but otherwise mostly clear tonight. I don't know. I'm not holding up high hope for some rain, but we'll talk about the weather in just a few minutes. Welcome again to another brand new week, and boy, do we have a lot of things planned and lined up for you this week in our discussions. Again, quick reminder, my colleague Ellio Solomon is on leave, and that leaves me here all by my lonesome in studios, but we hope to have him back in his chair very soon, and if not then certainly we hope to unveil what he's been busy working on also very soon. He's been doing more than just building cabinets, I can tell you that, so big shout out to Ellio wherever he may be, and again, welcome to you, the listening audience. Today is Monday, the first day of September. My goodness, this summer is just trotting along. It'll be Christmas before you notice it. Taking a quick look at what we can expect outside with your weather. Of course, brought to you by the National Weather Service. A stationary front located across Florida and a tropical wave that is making its way across Jamaica will allow for some isolated showers across the Cayman Islands as the front digs south and interacts with the tropical wave south of the Cayman area. Decreasing winds are expected to continue from tonight until Tuesday, eventually becoming light and variable thereafter. So that's what's got the Weather Service, at the very least, tentatively forecasting the potential for isolated evening showers. But for the most part, your nighttime should be relatively calm and clear. Certainly beautiful lightning show last night, around about 8:30, 9 o'clock, if you were up and out and about. Taking a look further east, as we talked about on Friday, weather forecasters are watching a tropical wave making its way off the coast of Africa. At least two models, the American and the European model, show it turning into a hurricane, whilst the Canadian and the Icon models show it remaining just a tropical storm. If it does turn into a storm, it will be called Gabrielle, either a storm, tropical storm, or a hurricane. So far, the good news is the system poses no threat to the Cayman Islands and really hasn't turned into anything thus far. There's about a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. So we'll continue to keep watching that system, but as our weather watchers will know, this is about that time of year when things start to heat up weather-wise. And, of course, if the hot summer sunshine that we've been experiencing this summer is any indicator, then that could mean some significant storms yet to come on the horizon. But as always, we keep a close watch on it. And if anything does develop, well, you can count on us here at Straight Talk. If not being the first, then pretty darn close to being the first to let you know what is happening. Taking a quick look at what's going on outside weather-wise, temperature-wise, and everything else. Currently outside of Godfrey Nixon Way, it's about 88 degrees Fahrenheit, but it feels like 101. Again, isolated showers expected this evening and mostly clear tonight thereafter. Winds will be out of the east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and sea state will be smooth with wave heights of fewer than 2 feet. That's a quick look at your weather, brought to you by the National Weather Service. 37 minutes past the hour, 4 o'clock is the time in studios, and it is my pleasure to announce that coming up after the 5 o'clock news, brought to you by the BBC, we will be hosting our very good friend, Dr. Livingston Smith, the interim president for the University College of the Cayman Islands, will be my guest in studios. And, we'll be talking to him about a variety of things, not least of which, of course, the role of higher learning institutions like UCCI and the important role they play in the local economy. We'll talk to him about his recent appointment as interim president, and maybe if that might extend itself all the way to a full-fledged president. Where I stand, if someone's doing the job, why call them interim? And we have a nasty habit of letting persons stick around as interim for an extended period of time. But I say you give him 30 days. If he can do the job in 30 days, then hire or promote from within. No need to go anywhere else and look for better. We oftentimes have the best right here available at home. And Dr. Livingston Smith, having known him for some time, I hold him in high regard. And I look forward to having him as our guest in studios this evening, shortly after the 5 o'clock news break. So you definitely want to tune in and be a part of that discussion when it happens. As always, though, we like to begin each day with some good news. And boy, do we have some good news for you on this Monday. Some very uplifting, positive news, I might add, as we begin a new week. The first, a young Caymanian cyclist has made history in Barbados. According to an article that appeared in today's Cayman Compass, Ryan Thompson made local cycling history by taking second in the juvenile individual time trial at the Caribbean Cycling Union Junior Championships held in Barbados on the 30th of August. The achievement marks the first ever medal for the Cayman Islands at the Caribbean Cycling Championships across all categories, a result described by Cayman Cycling as a true breakthrough moment for Cayman Cycling and a performance that will be remembered for years to come. During the 7-mile competition that was held on the 30th of August, Thompson sped to the finish line in a time of 16 minutes and 11 seconds, which put him just 10 seconds behind the first-place finisher in the 15 to 16-year-old division. So, first of all, Ryan Thompson, if you got your ears on, congratulations. At just 15 years old, that really speaks volumes about your talent and, of course, the opportunities that you still have yet to shine. Arguably, you haven't developed into, I guess, your best all-around athlete yet. So certainly you're off to a fantastic start. Now, Thompson, as I mentioned, who's just 15 years old, just the following day, so after placing second in his first group division, making history for the Cayman Islands, he took part in a 42-mile road race in Barbados on the 31st of August. Now, unfortunately, they didn't provide any details as to how he did with that, but that's okay. He made history one time. I'm happy with that. I'm sure he did even more fabulous in the second race, but we're going to spoon feed it to us. Very gentle, little bit at a time. You won't get too excited, but congratulations to Ryan Thompson making history, cycling history in the Cayman Islands, by placing at the Caribbean Cycling Union event held in Barbados back in August. I can say back in August like it was a long time, but really it was just this past weekend. So well done to Ryan, to his family. I'm sure everyone are extremely proud of him. Turning our attention away from the sporting arena to the classroom. There's a saying that said, a child shall lead the way. And whilst the 15-year-old boy is considered a young adult, a 10-year-old Caymanian has become the youngest person to pass regional exams. Caymanian Matthew Anderson, at just 10 years old, has become the youngest person in the Caribbean to pass the rigorous Caribbean secondary education certificate examinations. The 5-year-old student from the Edna Moyle Primary School, no surprises there. They certainly continue to churn out some fabulous students. They have a terrific curriculum program, terrific teaching program that's very, student-centric. And, of course, they have fantastic parental support. But Mr. Anderson earned a grade 1 in mathematics and a grade 2 in human and social biology, making him the youngest person in the Caribbean to pass the exams. Mark Ray, director of the Department of Education Services, confirmed the quote-unquote amazing work done by Anderson as an early independent private entry in the regional exams during his remarks at the annual Education Professionals Welcome held on the 22nd of August, just days ahead of the opening of the government schools for the 2025-2026 school year. He said, and I quote, "Talent isn't a question. Intelligence isn't a question. Capability isn't a question. It is what do we do with it? How do we support it? And how do we make sure that students and many others who demonstrate similar capabilities don't fall between the cracks and reach their absolute potential? That's our remit. That's our job," said Mark Ray. In preparing for the exams, Anderson explains he became friends with past exams to get familiar with the questions. He also used YouTube videos to help with math concepts. And, of course, he gives a lot of credit to his parents for helping out. Anderson said that while he was up for the challenge, he did experience difficult moments. He said, and I quote, "There were bigger kids and adults in the exams, and I'd feel intimidated because I was so much smaller. So it was kind of hard to do the exams without feeling nervous or being constantly looked at or stared at." Well, young man, if they were staring at you before, they certainly are staring at you even more now, but with envy in some eyes and maybe even pride in others on your remarkable achievement at 10 years old, again, becoming the youngest person in the Caribbean to pass the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate examinations. And we could not be any prouder. Matthew Anderson there, a year 5 student at the Edna Moyle Primary School. Again, I'm just so pleased. And again, I can only have good things to say about the Edna Moyle Primary School. We've talked about it often. I think most recently, we bragged about it because it happens to be the school that the daughters of the current Speaker of Parliament, the Honorable Ezra Miller, attends. His eldest daughter has been a head girl there for, I think, many years. And she is just one in a long list of notable persons, particularly in the District of Northside, who have, gotten a start at the Edna Moyle Primary School. And this is not the first time the school has been able to knock on the awards category, in many cases here at home, but in this case, certainly making a record for the Cayman Islands and putting young Matthew Anderson on the global educational map at just 10 years old. And I think, the point that Mark Ray made was absolutely, it's not just intelligence, it's not just capability, but what do we do with it? How do we support our young people? How do we praise our young people when they've, done something remarkable? How do we lift them up? Get out of this otherwise crabs in the bucket mentality. I certainly hope that his classmates at this young age will lift up their young classmate, Matthew Anderson, on their shoulders, be proud of him, recognizing his achievement, and undoubtedly perhaps even turning him into a very early role model for others in his classroom. So exceedingly proud of young Matthew Anderson, and I hope that all and sundry within the sound of my voice will join with me in congratulating young Matthew Anderson on this wonderful achievement. Likewise to Ryan Thompson for taking second place in the Caribbean Cycling Union Junior Championships. Both young Caymanians making history, one in the field of athletics and the other on the important field of life and academics in the classroom. Both young Caymanians have, I think, wonderful opportunities in front of them, wonderful, chances to be even better, and they're local. So we're all very thrilled to support them, and I know certainly I am. 47 minutes past the hour of 4 o'clock. If you want to say a quick word of congratulations to either of these young men, let me encourage you to pick up the phone and give me a call, 745-2626. I know that some of them may very well be on their way home right now. I think the Edna Moyle Primary School probably let out a long time ago, and hopefully the young man lives close to it. There was something happening in the Savannah area this afternoon around 3 or 3:30. It involved a school bus. Didn't look like an accident, but it did look like there was some injury of some kind. I don't even want to begin to assume, but it looked like, from my very short vantage point, it looked like it could have even have involved a child. It is my prayer that that child, if it was a child, was not seriously injured. But if you are making your way home this Monday evening and the traffic seems a little more tighter than usual, well, I know from 3:30 backwards, it was certainly bumper to bumper going all the way back to, where was it? Back to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. As you move just past, or before, frankly, if you look at it that way, before you get to the Countryside Shopping Plaza, traffic was starting to build there, but it was also starting to build as you come off the Spot Straight and enter the new 25-mile-an-hour residential area, but certainly started to be bumper to bumper just before the roundabout. Hopefully that has cleared by now. But if you are experiencing delays, well, just sit back, make sure your seatbelt is securely fastened. Turn up your radio because I will keep you busy all the way until 6:30. Continuing with the good news, normally we're slamming the government for one thing or the other. Well, not slamming. That's a harsh word. I would say being constructively critical and maybe not as enthralled with the glittering generalities that come with a lot of press statements and political babble. But in this instance, just to show that we are capable of balancing, the scales in this case, giving as well as we take, government aims to trim $6 million off of the $59 million Cayman Brac High School costs. Government says it will save $6 million on the cost of the new Cayman Brac High School by ditching plans for a new gymnasium and its connecting walkways. Speaking at a press conference on Friday, Education Minister, the Honorable Ralston Anglin, who is also the Minister for Finance and Economic Development, said that the cost of the new school had been approaching $59 million, and with the history of escalating costs across all government projects, I deemed it my duty to review how best to ensure this project be delivered in a fiscally responsible manner. Certainly, Minister Anglin, no stranger to new school projects and certainly no stranger to the field of education, saying that the move was not about cutting corners, but it was about balancing ambition with accountability and delivering a modern and sustainable school while exercising fiscal prudence that our people rightly expect. So bravo to the government and to Minister Anglin. I mean, $6 million off a $59 million project doesn't seem at first glance like a lot of money, but every little bit does tend to help. The government also hinted that with the mass population growth in the Cayman Islands, their upcoming strategic policy statement could also include the unveiling of plans for another new high school in the Cayman Islands. And whilst, again, we, praise the government for reducing costs, at the same token, We praise the government for seeking to refurbish and expand, if not rebuild, the Layman E. Scott School in Cayman Brac, which, again, is one of the more older schools in the Cayman Islands. But like the Edna Moyle Primary School, it is one of those high schools that has consistently performed and continues to have high-level graduates passing through all of its courses. So from an academic perspective, Layman E. Scott High School is deserving of our respect. But then on the other side, a lot of people ask the question, well, why do we need such a massive school for such a small population? Certainly when you hear the minister saying that because of the massive population expansion, largely on Grand Cayman, they could very well be looking to build a new school here in Grand Cayman to address that population growth. Then one asks the question, how did we decide, again, under the previous administration, to build the school in Cayman Brac in the first place? There's a census, that was available to the government. They had information to see the actual growth as well as the growth trends. Weren't they, again, keeping their eye on the ball and saying, well, we understand Layman E. Scott, could use new facilities, but Cayman Brac isn't growing population-wise. Grand Cayman is. The 2021 census data confirmed significant population growth in every district except Cayman Brac. We also know that West Bay is one of our most populous districts, and it only has one government primary school, as an example, that is already at capacity. So the question is, how can we make the decisions to spend on infrastructure less political and more driven based on need? And again, you ask the question because in government, you don't just up and decide to build a new high school. There are a number of boards and bodies and departments. There's a number of eyes that has to basically approve that decision, not least of which the politicians that make up, first of all, the government bench in caucus, which is a meeting of all members of the government, usually on a Monday or a Tuesday, and that is followed by the direction. Basically, caucus approves the plan, and then it passes on those policy decisions to cabinet, who will meet the next day to action those plans. At least that was the case when I was in office, and certainly it, removed the veil, if you will. A lot of people say, before that, well, what goes on in cabinets in secret, and most of the government are unaware of it. Well, again, under our administration led by the Honorable Sir Alden McLaughlin, he had a motto. How can the government be called together in Parliament to defend the decisions and the policy decisions of the government if they don't know what is happening in the first place? So if cabinet is holding secret meetings from caucus, then that's kind of counterproductive. So my point is that when you engage in new building, new projects, everybody is aware of it. But not only is everybody aware of it on the political side, everybody is also aware of it on the civil service side. And if we did have, in this instance, a 2021 census, we knew what the population demographics were. We knew what the population trends were. We knew which districts were growing the fastest. Prior to 2021, Boddentown was considered the fastest growing residential neighborhood. But now West Bay seems to have taken over that. And we can see that with the construction trends that are going on. So then how do we arrive at, when we are making our priorities for the country, particular needed, if not critical infrastructure, how do we decide that Cayman Brac is the one that needs the attention? Now, again, I did say I was giving credit to the government, and I am. Saving $6 million of any kind I'll take a savings any day over an overspend, whether it's $6 million or whether it's $60,000. I give credit to the government. But now I'm being critical of the previous administration, given all of the facts that were available, the yards, if not miles, of technical data that was out there. How did we arrive at the Cayman Brac School as the one being the priority? But I suppose I answer my own question when I look at the recent property acquisition now by the new government that literally happened over the weekend. On a Friday, an article came out that the Bluff land was up for sale I tell you what, this one reminds you of the power of social media. There was a social media uproar, if not explosion. And by Sunday, the government had swooped in and bought it. Again, the same government that are facing a $60 million deficit at the end of the year. So, again, how do we prioritize? I guess that's a question for another day. But back to the Cameron Heights School, Garth Arch, Managing Director of Arch and Godfrey, said he was very pleased with the progress of the school, which is on track to be completed by May or June next year. So Cameron will have some new classroom inventory, but we may have to ship some of our students from Grand Cayman to Cameron if we haven't built a new high school to meet the population demands. But it is 58 minutes now past the hour of 4 o'clock, and we do need to pause, take a short commercial break, check in with the top of the hour news brought to you by the BBC. A lot of things going on in the world, not least of which there in Gaza. Some very disturbing things, I got to tell you. Not too pleased with Mr. Netanyahu and some of his decisions. But in war, it's always the innocent that pay the price, and certainly that is the case in the Gaza Strip. Check out today's BBC News and see what sort of information that'll share there. But coming up, immediately following the news and a few brief commercial messages, we will welcome in studios Dr. Livingston Smith, the interim president of the University College of the Cayman Islands. He will be our guest, and we're going to talk about the important role of higher learning institutions like the University College and its role in the local economy. We'll talk about his presidency and his vision for the school. All of that and more coming up next, right here on Straight Talk.
Bobo.
How can we understand the world better?
The BBC World Service is a window onto the wider world.
The vantage point from which to survey a new horizon.
News, reports, and analysis from around the world.
Stories we think matter.
Different people from different societies.
We get to the heart of global issues.
News, stories, and global perspectives from the BBC World Service.
The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo FM.
Welcome to our newsroom here in central London. We place ourselves here at a little desk right in the thick of things.
OS from the BBC.
We can catch the very latest news from our colleagues, not just in this enormous room, but also from our colleagues around the world.
I'm in the room where they're treating children.
This is a combat zone.
The situation after the typhoon is very complicated.
It was a very tense situation.
OS from the BBC.
The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo FM.
BBC News.
BBC News.
World news from the BBC. Violent clashes.
Thick black smoke.
A tremendous legal victory.
Crucial elections.
Destructive winds.
A search and recovery operation.
A race against time.
An imminent threat.
Flying a drone over a rival team's training session.
Whatever is happening, wherever it's happening, catch up with the latest news bulletins from the BBC.
The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo FM. This is Bobo 103.1, powered by Health Services Authority.
At Health Services Authority, they are committed to caring for you. They are Cayman's largest and longest-standing healthcare provider, offering the most comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and public health services at 9 different locations across all 3 islands.
Across Cayman on 103.1 FM, online, and on your smart speaker. The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo 103.1.
Hello, I'm Eileen McHugh with the BBC News. 24 hours after a magnitude 6 earthquake hit eastern Afghanistan, rescue efforts are continuing in the remote mountainous region worst affected. Dozens of helicopters have been used to lift the injured out of the area. The hospital in the city of Jalalabad, where the wounded have been taken, is struggling to cope with the influx. Yogita Lamai is in Jalalabad.
The only medical facility that can provide them some medical treatment, the only public facility, is in this city, pretty far from where the epicenter is. We've heard from people who've come in here from the affected areas, telling us about how their families are stuck under the rubble, telling us about how whole villages are destroyed, and saying that there are still masses of people trapped under the rubble there. But I know this in Afghanistan, that it will take days. It will take days to estimate the full scale of the disaster.
Ukrainian officials say the man suspected of assassinating a prominent Ukrainian politician was acting in coordination with Russia. Andriy Parubiy was shot dead on Saturday in the western city of Lviv. Here's our Global Affairs reporter Paul Moss.
He was certainly the kind of politician the Kremlin would hate. Andriy Parubiy wanted Ukraine to have closer ties to Europe and supported the use of the Ukrainian language rather than Russian. So no great surprise that police believe his alleged killer had ties to Russia. The 52-year-old they arrested was described as an odd job man. Some reports suggest he'd initially made contact with Russia to inquire about his son, a soldier missing in action. Ukraine's interior minister said the murder had been carefully planned, the victim's movements studied, and his escape thought through.
Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has said that the United States has sent 8 military vessels and a submarine to intimidate his country in what he described as a serious threat to regional peace. Speaking to international journalists in Caracas, Mr. Maduro said the U.S. warships were carrying 1,200 missiles. He said Venezuela was prepared to defend its sovereignty. El Salvador has introduced a new school disciplinary code requiring students to say please and thank you to their teachers and to wear conservative haircuts. David Bamford has the details.
El Salvador's authoritarian president, Nayib Bukele, appointed a new education minister last month, Carla Trigueros. She is a military officer and has immediately imposed strict regulations. She said that to avoid grading penalties, students must always be polite and wear clean uniforms with polished shoes. Boys must have cropped hair and must not display gang tags. Patriotic flag ceremonies will be held every Monday. The president has praised the no-nonsense measures, saying the gang culture must be eradicated.
World News from the BBC. The Mexican President, Claudia Sheinbaum, has delivered her first annual State of the Nation address more than a year after she took office. During that time, she has overseen judicial reforms in which every judge and magistrate in the country will be chosen by direct ballot. In her speech, Ms. Sheinbaum said the changes would bring an end to nepotism and corruption. Guatemala's President Bernardo Arévalo has said his country is ready and willing to receive 150 unaccompanied minors every week from the United States. Mr. Arévalo said the children would be safely reunited with their parents in Guatemala.
We are prepared to receive them. Our program allows us, under ideal conditions, to receive about 150 children each week. At this moment, let's say that would be more or less the number, because it depends on our capacity to identify family members to facilitate a safe return.
The Swiss food giant Nestlé has fired its chief executive because he failed to disclose a romantic relationship with a subordinate. The company said that Laurent Frex, who'd only been in the post for a year, was being dismissed with immediate effect and would not receive an exit passage. Several top executives have been fired from major companies in recent years over personal relationships with colleagues, the most recent being the CEO of a tech company who was caught on kiss cam at a Coldplay concert with the firm's HR chief. The Swedish footballer Alexander Isak has confirmed that he has signed for the English Premier League champions Liverpool for a British record transfer fee. After months of speculation and negotiations in the off-season, Newcastle United finally allowed their star striker to go to Liverpool for around $170 million. That's the BBC News.
The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of Stingray Media, its staff, or contributors. Callers to the program accept full responsibility for the views expressed. The show host and affiliates are not liable for any statements made or any harm claimed. All callers to the program indemnify Straight Talk from all claims. Offensive, defamatory, or unlawful content will not be tolerated. Be a part of the conversation by calling 745-2626. Now, here's Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio on Bobo 103.1.
And welcome back, hey man, to more Straight Talk here on Bobo 103.1 FM and simulcasting live over YouTube and Facebook under the key search words Straight Talk Radio Show. You can also find our show streaming live on the ACT Cruise Tourism page there on Facebook as well. I'm your host, Austin Harris. My colleague and co-host, Ellio Solomon, is on leave. It is 7 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock, and as promised, it is my pleasure to welcome a very dear friend, someone who is certainly no stranger to radio and ironically no stranger to sitting opposite of me. He is now the new interim president, well, maybe not so new, but the new interim president of the University College of the Cayman Islands. Please join me in welcoming my good friend, Dr. Livingston Smith.
It is such an awesome honor and privilege, Austin, to be back with you. I remember the old days when we used to be elsewhere on radio together, discussing big issues and talking about the Cayman Islands.
Indeed, and I see you still have the same remarkable haircut. How do you do it? I don't know. Well, welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, I think, are in order, Mr. Interim President of the University College of the Cayman Islands. Maybe that's as good a place to start in terms of you and I catching up in terms of what's changed, what have you been up to for the years in which we've been apart, so to speak. But talk to us about your recent elevation. How does it feel? And is it a promotion or is it just more work?
It is both of those, I would say. It's a promotion. You know, Austin, I've been there now for 25 years, and I've seen the university develop and expand and transition in many ways. Yes. And I've had the awesome privilege of teaching so many students. I mean, hundreds of students, many of whom have gone on to serve the country in various ways. Mm-hmm. I'm very pleased to say I have many doctors who have taught PhDs and so on.
Right.
And so the school has really evolved, and it is our responsibility to let the public know that the UCC of 25 years ago is not the same UCC today. It has really expanded, and it is really something that we need to get out there and talk about some more.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because, you know, not just the footprint has expanded, but the curriculum base, the course offerings have expanded, and with it have been the educational professionals that you've added to your very impressive teacher corps.
You are totally correct. Let's start, for example, with the expansion in what we are actually doing in terms of the curriculum.
Yes.
We have quite an expansive curriculum in the social sciences, nursing, education, business, natural sciences, engineering, and so on. In the TVET areas, we have quite an expansive offering there.
Wonderful.
And we are developing, as we speak, some short courses because many persons don't have the time to do 2-year degrees or 4-year degrees, but they want to do something in the short term that can maximize their time and offer something for the workplace.
Absolutely.
So we have been offering those courses too, and I want to talk about them later on.
Yes.
Because persons are very, very interested. We have graduated 2 cohorts of persons in a variety of short courses, and we have about 10 or 12 of them coming on very shortly.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, as you said, we will talk about it earlier on, but it's nice to see that as you roll out and as you expand your curriculum base, you are still being faithful to your roots because it was through a professional course designation back when I was doing banking many, many moons ago that I first became acquainted with the University College of the Cayman Islands and, you know, enrolled in evening classes. So it's encouraging to see those classes, which were part of your humble beginnings, still forming part as you expand and move forward into the future. But I want to talk a little bit and highlight some of the sociological programs that you have unveiled in recent years. One of which, and again, I suppose I, humbly take a little bit of credit for it, if not be a part of, when I was an MP for a very short moment in time, we discovered that there was sadly a lacking in local social workers in the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
Thankfully, the University College of the Cayman Islands stepped up. You offered a program. So now there is a ready supply, if you will, a mill of such coming from our local tertiary institution, feeding the much needed departments and divisions of government where the essential work of social workers are needed. Talk to us about that.
You're totally correct. We thought that we should be producing nurses,
yes,
teachers,
yes,
social workers, and business persons, and so on. And so the social work program, we have an associate degree in social work and a bachelor's degree in social work. We have been graduating a good number of persons. The thing about this program is that we wanted persons who knew about the Cayman Islands, who had that local sensitivity and sensibility in terms of how they're trained. So they come to us trained in global thought and the curriculum,
yes,
but having the local experience
right,
that situates them very, very well in taking on local problems. You know? So yes, it's a program we're very, very happy with. And as we keep trying to make it better, we have sent the persons who are listening, if you want to be a social worker, get going. It has its own qualifications, but it's not too late for you to come on and be a part of that. In fact, we've just ended registration last week, but there's still some days to go. If you are thinking about starting your university career, there's still time to do so. We have all the areas you can think of. Come on down, go online, and get registered to start classes. All right? So, Austin, I keep insisting that a person's education never ends.
Correct, sir.
All right? It's an ongoing process until that transition. So it doesn't matter where you are in life, doesn't matter what you think you know, there's always so much you don't know.
Yes.
And even those who have been to school, things have changed a lot.
Right.
Things have evolved, and you need to be part of that. And that's why we say continuing education is a necessity. All right? So be part of what we're doing and get on down. One of you mentioned about UCCI, how we started. In fact, we are celebrating our 50th anniversary.
50 years already.
Of existence.
Wow.
All right?
Time just blew on by, didn't it?
Indeed. In fact, I know you haven't reached that age.
You think so, do you? Yes.
So,
I may look young, dear friend, but I've reached it and surpassed it, and believe you me, I can feel it. But 50 years, that's fabulous. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, so in terms of tertiary education in the Cayman Islands, it really began in 1975 when they had the community college, which was a part-time institution at the time. And then over the next few years, a number of schools were going to be amalgamated, because you did have schools like the trade school, the hotel school, the marine school. These were offering specialized training, all right? And then in 1985, the government decided to bring them together, right? And into what was at the community college, all right? And then in 2004, something very significant happened when the government decided to make it into a university college.
Yes.
Right? It became UCCI. And with that status came a number of other changes also. All right? So since that time, the university has really taken on quite a few things that I've mentioned. For example, diverse range of certificates and undergraduate and graduate degrees. We offer a significant number of professional courses. I mentioned about the natural sciences, social sciences, business, finance, TVET, teacher education, nursing, social work. And what we've also done is to establish ourselves in many ways with other schools. We have a large number of MOUs, affiliations with many other schools that we work with. You know, I want persons to understand that our students leave UCCI, whether they leave with their associate degree or their bachelor's degree, and they get into any school they want to get into. I mean, you go to the best schools in the UK,
yes,
in the US, in Canada, the Caribbean, our students get, and they're there.
And we were on par.
That's the whole point.
That was what I was, the point that I was making a few weeks ago when we were praising one of your professors on and their accomplishments was I was reminding, in particular, those persons who may have graduated high school last year and are thinking about, continuing their academic experience and education, that not everyone has to go overseas. Not everyone has to go to the U.S. Not everyone has to go to the U.K. Arguably, not everyone has to go to the wider Caribbean, because the University College of the Cayman Islands has come a long way. And perhaps you can provide that proof to those sentiments that we are on par with a lot of these international institutions.
Definitely. And that's why when our students leave us, they can get into the best schools abroad, whether it be the UK schools, Caribbean schools, and so on. So part of what we've done is to make sure that our programs are accredited, all right? We have what is called programmatic accreditation and institutional accreditation. So you take any of our programs, whether it be nursing or in business, or the teacher education program, all of these are accredited as programs. Our TVET programs have accreditation with sitting guilds and so on, NCCER and others like that. And the school itself is accredited institutionally by ASIC, all right? And that is coming out of the UK. And as we speak, we are even going further. We are being in the process of gaining U.S. regional accreditation, all right? So our students have no difficulty in terms of where they go, all right? We have programs in medicine, in science that take them into medicine. You go to the law school here, maybe most of the people there are graduates.
Right,
They go to law school, they go to here or abroad, the very best schools. You're talking about schools like Manchester, LSE, University of London, and schools like that. Those students are there.
Yes.
All right, and doing very, very well.
Indeed, and they got their start here at the University
Besides,
College.
whether they do their associate or their bachelor's degree.
Right.
All right, and so, of course, you also have master's degree. All right. So the point really is that the school has come a long way, and we are getting ourselves out there in saying, look here, we have something very special right here.
Well, what I've noticed, and this again has spanned at least 20 years, slowly but surely, and either directly involved or on the periphery watching from the outside in, I have to congratulate the University College of the Cayman Islands for really growing with the times and seeking to stand in the void or to create opportunities in the void that have been addressed in the social landscape. For example, there were, oh my goodness, many years that the conversation in the public realm was, oh, we need more technical and vocational schools. Where are they? Let me see a building. Government go away and build a special purpose building. And, I remember sitting in a similar chair as this, is reminding people that we do not need to go out and build new schools. We need to, learn the directions to some of the older schools that have been around. In this case, now 50 years. The University College of the Cayman Islands was one of those institutions of learning that first rolled out TVET in any meaningful way. But since that time, you talk about nursing, social workers, teachers, engineers, very clearly viewing, whether it be the statistics released in the census, the National Labor Survey reports that come out at least quarterly in the Cayman Islands, identifying where the emerging trends are, where the employers are going. And I wonder, as a teacher on the one hand, but as a professional administrator at the executive level, when UCCI designs its strategic direction or when it seeks to introduce new curriculum, does it base those decisions on the direction in which Cayman's local economy seems to be headed?
Totally so. In fact, we do our own studies to make sure that we have it right, to ensure that what we're doing is aligned with what the society wants. That is why, for example, we have short courses that cover, and I go into them very shortly. That is why we have ensured that our business programs are programs which the business persons want to have.
Right.
That's why, for example, when we're making up a course of study, we get input from the persons in the area.
Right.
Each division has persons on their committees who are in industry and who look at what we're offering and say, this is good, or you might want to change so to make sure it aligns with what is really important and necessary in the workplace.
Yes.
All right? So we do that. Of course, we also ensure that they are accredited by important bodies, because accreditation ensures that we're on par with other schools elsewhere.
Yes, sir.
That's also very vital. We also ensure that the persons who teach in the classrooms are very qualified. All right? So we have standards, which are recognized standards. The persons who come to teach with us, for example, they all have to have at least a master's degree in the area. And in fact, we have the largest contingent of PhDs at UCCI in different areas. You mentioned about Dr. Antoinette Gale, who is doing so much work in chemistry, and the fact that we have just put out a release on what she's doing and making waves internationally. So yes, we align what we're doing with what is required in society. We look at the reports and try to do that. Just recently, for example, we launched an associate degree in culinary arts.
Okay.
We looked
again, another sign of the times as the Cayman Islands seeks to put itself on the map as the culinary capital of the Caribbean.
We thought that we have to train people to take, all of those advantages which are right here. But we also looked around and thought that we had to do something to embolden, deepen the cultural enterprise in Cayman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we just started an associate degree in cultural studies, actually, where persons can come and learn about global culture, but in particular about Cayman culture. And that is also taken off. We have a new degree in media studies, because we realize that the landscape is changing. There are quite a few media houses that will need persons who are trained in that area. So yes, we do look around and ensure that what we're offering is relevant. That's very important.
One of the questions that I wanted to ask you, when we talk about not only the wide raft of courses and study that is available and arguably continues to grow at the University College of the Cayman Islands, I wonder, what is the rate of matriculation, if you will, between the number of graduates coming out of the high school, which in the University College case, you parallel. The only thing separating the high school from the University College of the Cayman Islands is a road, and it's a very small road. And the last time I was there, mind you, many years ago, I was impressed with the number of young persons that I met with and chatted with, seeming to me that they had just recently graduated high school and they, again, had come over to the school. And I mean, certainly from a motivational standpoint, being able to see the university for an entire year as you're preparing to graduate high school might serve as a motivator. So, you know what, when I get out of school, I want to continue my education right across the street. Are we seeing an uptick in enrollment, particularly from our young high school leavers?
I would say that. When I asked before I came here the number of persons who have registered for this semester so far, we have 1,250 so far, and we expect that to be around 1,400 persons. Most of those are young people. We have new students, we have returning students. We have a program called the DE program, the Dual Entry program, where there are about 119 students who are at UCCI, but they're also enrolled in high school. So what they do is they are qualified for university. They're young people. So we keep them right there while they're doing their associate degrees, all right? But they're under some special regulations, all right? But they come, and the key thing is that they're able to become acquainted with tertiary education, the environment, getting accustomed to how they, have some more autonomy, they do their thing, and also becoming acquainted with classes at that level, all right? So we do have a large number of young people who are there, and we do have a growing number of persons in the workplace who are coming to do their degrees. We try to encourage that a lot by offering classes right up to 9 o'clock in the nights, and of course by also having weekend classes.
Right, indeed.
Yeah.
We just have a little bit over a minute left, but we talked about wanting to talk about some of those smaller classes, those evening classes. So maybe with, again, if you can do it in 60 seconds, what are the list, if you will, of those evening classes that are designed for busy professionals who want to have, again, continued learning that could very well lead to promotions and career advancement?
Right. I could go through some of these courses. Many persons today hear about AI, and they're fascinated by it, and they should. It's something that is obviously changing everything we do.
Absolutely.
And we thought we should offer some courses to the community. It's called AI Foundations, Concepts, Tools, and Applications. And you will see them coming out this week. It's just $650 for the 7 to 8 week course in AI. These courses cover AI in a very practical way. The core concepts, tools, real-world applications of AI. So persons who want to know about AI, in a more organized way, this course is for you. It goes through AI concepts and tools, the ethical issues, the biases, the risks in AI, and in particular, how AI is being applied in different realms of society.
Well, I'm going to ask you to stick a pin there because we do need to pause. But certainly as it relates to AI, we've talked about it here on the program.
Yeah.
It's not coming after the trades, but certainly if you're a professional white-collar worker, AI is coming for your job. Our conversation with Dr. Livingston Smith and UCCI continues next on Straight Talk.
More Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio coming up. Be a part of the conversation by calling 745-2626. Bobo 103.1.
When it comes to cooking for my family, I turn to Kirk Market for all our nutritional needs. Whether whipping up a quick stir fry with lean CAB choice beef or preparing a healthy weekend dinner with fresh local snapper, Kirk Market always has exactly what I need. At Kirk Market, I find premium proteins that keep my family healthy, energetic, and always coming back for seconds. Visit Kirk Market today. Bring home the quality and freshness your family deserves. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and experience a world of choice.
We need to talk. Okay. We've noticed you've been going to KFC a lot more than usual lately. And
that's fine. We know you love it.
We just don't understand how you could afford it.
The KFC What a Deal menu starting at just $3. Gives you lots of great choices and value. Available at KFC Baytown Plaza, Shedden Road, and in the Strand. The KFC What a Deal value meals. The deal everyone should know about. Come to KFC and enjoy a variety of tasty choices at surprising prices. KFC, so good.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
We all work hard to one day buy the house of our dreams. Why wouldn't you protect it? With Saxon, you now have the option to get a home insurance quote online. Avoid the waiting in lines and the traffic. Simply log on to saxon.ky and click to get a quote to get started. At Saxon, we pride ourselves on providing our customers with excellent customer service and convenience. So what are you waiting for? Visit saxon.ky today from the comfort of your home or office to get your quote and protect the things you love. Saxon. Smart Insurance.
Drinking water is vital to our health. At Cayman Water, we use reverse osmosis desalination to ensure safe drinking water. A semi-permeable membrane allows fresh water to pass through, blocking out contaminants. Then, we finish with a post-treatment process and conduct frequent extensive testing to ensure that you get healthy drinking water with an average pH of 7. Not only is water out of your tap safe to drink, it's approximately 400 times less expensive than bottled water. Help to reduce plastics and save our planet. Cayman Water cares. Learn more at caymanwater.com.
Visit Healthcare Pharmacy's second location in Governor Square, servicing West Bay and the 7 Mile Beach Corridor with the care and professionalism you have come to expect from Healthcare Pharmacy. Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square also stocks a huge selection of Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, vitamins, sunblock, last minute, and everyday needs. To refill and transfer your prescriptions, simply WhatsApp 329-7313 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or drop by Monday to Saturday from 9 till 6.
Across Cayman on FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is Bobo 103.1, powered by Health Services Authority, committed to caring for you. The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of Stingray Media, its staff, or contributors. Callers to the program accept full responsibility for the views expressed. The show host and affiliates are not liable for any statements made or any harm claimed. All callers to the program indemnify Straight Talk from all claims. Offensive, defamatory, or unlawful content will not be tolerated. Be a part of the conversation by calling 745-2626. Now, here's Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio on Bobo 103.1.
And welcome back, K-Man, to more Straight Talk here on Bobo 103.1 FM and continuing to be simulcast live over YouTube and Facebook under the key search words Straight Talk Radio Show. You can also find us streaming live on the ACT Cruise Tourism page on Facebook, or you can also find us at our own website, www.straighttalk.ky. I'm your host, Austin Harris. My colleague and fellow co-host, Ellio Solomon, is on leave. But if you're just tuning in, my goodness, you've missed, a length and breadth of a fabulous conversation we are enjoying with our good friend in studios, the interim president of the University College of the Cayman Islands, Dr. Livingston Smith, learning why the university remains and has been for the better part of 50 years a relevant force to educate the next generation of Caymanians and preparing them for the jobs of the future. And prior to the last break, when we were focusing a little bit on some of the shorter evening type classes that are more geared towards the busy professional, as you said earlier on.
Right.
And a lot of people may not have time for an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree, but they are working professionals. They have a few hours every night that they can dedicate to classwork, and they can have a range of subjects which match or meet the jobs that are in high demand today in our labor force. And one of them, we were just chatting about briefly, was AI, which I believe firmly is coming after a lot of the jobs that make up society. Again, I don't think they're coming after the plumbing jobs, the carpentry jobs, the mechanic jobs, the jobs considered vocational in nature, but arguably a lot of the white-collar jobs, the administration, the law, in many cases, the legal secretaries and the life. AI and its advancements certainly are coming on board for that, but it is also a fabulous creative tool, and that's the other thing that I notice about young people, being the father of one not-so-young boy, or now man, is that the creative juices, if you will, that are coming from the minds of our young people is something almost unfathomable, certainly something that I wasn't prepared for, and it is knowledge of technologies such as AI that are really generating and leading the way in these areas. Dr. Livingston, tell us again more about your AI courses, but also the other raft of smaller courses designed for the busy career professional.
I'm happy to do that, Austin. But I want to speak to the fact that AI is really here to stay.
Without a doubt.
Those of us who have studied how society has evolved, at one time we argued that the revolution in the 17th, 18th century, the Industrial Revolution, was the most consequential. But we have to now say, I don't think so.
I don't think so at all. Whilst that revolution certainly yielded significant advancements across the globe, but technology is the unstoppable force, and it is ever-changing, ever-evolving.
These computers are really, what they're doing, take, for example, what they're doing in education.
Yes.
I could speak to that. AI is transforming education in terms of how we adapt course materials, how we do our readings, or how we do our practice problems, how we tutor students, how we grade students, because they have access to such a wide range of information.
Yes.
We have to find ways of ensuring that, what we're teaching, of course, is coming also from their own knowledge. But we have to use AI, for example, for feedback. It is being used in the classroom. It is used to track students' progress. It's used, of course, to do things like analysis and argumentation. The fact that students have this large outlay of information is something new, all right? And so universities all over are trying to ensure that they utilize it in the classroom, in the university, in different ways, all right? So whether it be in virtual labs and simulations, chat box, AI is being used to assist students in their research. Now, say, for example, you're doing a literature review. The amount of information that hits you is just something that is enormous, all right? Obviously, you have to also develop your analytical skills, and you have to also bring your own thought to what is going on, but you're exposed literally to a mass of information very, 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 very quickly.
I wonder,
Right.
I mean, we talk about the attributes and the benefits that is artificial intelligence or AI, and the fact that it's really taking the whole technology revolution by storm. In many cases, it's very positive.
Yeah.
But I also worry that with its ingenuity, this program that can be, fed anything, and it's being fed from the World Wide Web and has Google as its base point. It can certainly solve critical problems. It can be your in-house lawyer because it can formulate itself based on Cayman Islands law, U.S. law, U.K. law. So arguably, when we say it's coming after a lot of the white-collar jobs of the future, why pay a lawyer for legal advice when you can go and ask AI a question and get, a very definitive answer? But from the education component, I wonder if you share my concerns that while it's very positive, AI is also removing the critical thinking skills that learning institutions, universities used to be. I mean, you can ask AI to give you a 300-page essay.
And here's where it becomes
and there you go. It'll do it for
Here's
you.
where it becomes interesting, because the literature that is developing in that area is actually saying not necessarily.
Really?
Is how you utilize it.
I see.
Is how you utilize it. And how do you utilize it in a way that forces them to think through the information. All right? So even, for example, in the way we assess a student's work, more and more universities, what they try to do now is to say, okay, we can't just assess your essays, even though, of course, we do have an AI policy. All right? We have an AI policy that outlines the circumstances in which can be used, the fact that you have to give credit to it, and things like that. All right? And of course, we have systems to determine the extent to which you have used it.
Right.
All right? So there are parameters.
Yes.
All right? The ethical guidelines that have to be, one has to commit oneself to. All right? So what we have to do today is to ensure that, say, for example, in assessing a student, I want to see an oral exam.
Right.
I want to see you develop a paper over time in different stages. I want to be part of that.
Yes.
You see, so universities are developing ways and means to ensure that the students are growing with AI.
Okay.
All right. It's a new thing. It takes time, but more and more the literature is saying, no, it doesn't have to do what you're saying there. It can.
Right.
It depends on how you utilize it.
Indeed. So I guess
Right.
the message you would send to, in particular, the new freshman student is just as easily as you, the young student, may ask AI to give you a 300-word book report on Ulysses, so too can the professors. And, they can, examine your book report against the book report that AI answered for them and see the close parallels and say, wait a minute, AI wrote this, not little Johnny.
Precisely.
That's an F.
Precisely. And then we could say, okay, for today, we're going to start off by hearing your own views on this topic.
Right.
Having looked at everything, let us hear what you think.
Indeed.
Go through and tell me the basic facts, but I want to hear what do you think.
Indeed.
All right. So you're talking about more class projects.
Yes.
All right. And process-based assignments that force students to think. So we want to utilize the information that they have access to, and it's not going away.
Indeed.
All right. But at the same time, we want to ensure that they're utilizing it in ways you mentioned in terms of critical thinking and all of that. In terms of the workplace, believe me, it is transforming the workplace, as you know. In matters, for example, to draft a report.
Yep.
And they say, bam, 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 and it's really there.
Draft a report, draft a letter of any kind, draft a contract.
Oh, man, analyze data. It's just phenomenal.
Yes.
Summarize meetings and things like that. Even those basic things, you know, and the AI scribes and all those kind of
things. In many cases, it's replaced Excel, which used to be, the spreadsheet of choice and how to analyze statistical data.
Yeah.
AI has stepped up.
Precisely. So it does afford a kind of a sophistication that the ordinary person didn't have before. And so in that way, it is very important. So, of course, there are other detrimental aspects to it, right? That one has to be careful of.
Indeed.
That's why the ethical element has to be always there.
Well, of course, AI is the trending thing, but it is not the only thing. When we talk about career learning and we talk about night classes for busy professionals, speak to us about the more general other.
Yes, definitely. Right, precisely. Precisely. So if persons want to come and do a short course in AI, learn what it is, how it works, get a handle on that. We have 2 classes on that because we're hoping to have quite a few persons coming on. And the person who's teaching is somebody who's into that area. All right? We also have a class in captive insurance management and reinsurance principles and practice. And this course gives a comprehensive understanding of the principles, structures, and operations of reinsurance, captive insurance. So persons who have an interest in this, you want to pursue a career in finance or insurance, or you want to get a deeper insight into into Cayman financial services industry, this course is for you. Graduates will understand captive functions and benefits, differentiate structures, navigate regulation, assess financial strategies, and so on. Right. It's a 7-8 week course for just $650. At the end of it, you get a certificate.
Wow.
All right. We have this what I think is an interesting course entitled Caribbean Governance, Self-Determination, and Decolonization. It's been taught by Dr. Corbin, who's a Caribbean scholar at the UN.
Indeed.
And I'm really hoping that, persons will be part of this course. It looks at governance models and strategies for how societies, small societies handle themselves.
In the news recently, just not to cut you, but in the news recently, the topic of ongoing constitutional modernization has raised its head again.
Yes, precisely.
We've got local lawyer Katina Angling battling the Privy Council, in other words, and battling Mother England, looking for greater advancement. Professor Corbin was required learning when we engaged in the first constitutional modernization exercise that led to the 2009 Constitution that we now operate now.
He'll be teaching this class for 7 weeks, 8 weeks.
Fabulous.
Right? So we're hoping that person, government, and in the private sector, persons listening, will come and do this course. All right? We have a course also just on Cayman Heritage, History, Culture, and Governance. I want to just pause here because there are many persons listening who don't have a handle on Cayman's culture.
True.
A handle on how the government works.
True.
A handle on basic historical facts.
Indeed. And it's not just foreigners that don't have a handle on it. Some of our own Caymanians
are still kind of clueless. How it has evolved. You cannot hope to really do any intricate analysis of society except you have some historical basis.
Correct.
Some historical knowledge and background. All right. So this course is for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. It's a 7-8 week course just on Cayman history, governance, culture and all of that. It designed persons in tourism, for example. It's good for you. Persons who are coming here, you're here, just learn about Cayman in a more structured, organized way.
That's right.
So you can have a handle on as to what is happening in Cayman, what are its current challenges and successes. All of these things make more sense when you look at it from a historical perspective. All right. The other course we have is Digital Skills and for the Modern Workplace. And this course teaches professional students, anyone eager to boost productivity, build digital confidence, master the tools of today's workplace. All right, cybersecurity skills, protect critical information, reduce risk. All of these things are there for you in this course. Another course we have is ESG and Sustainable Finance Fundamentals, Environmental, Social, and Governance, that's ESG. And in this course, we explore the impact on investments and the global economy, how climate change, sustainability, and responsible financial practices are shaping the world of finance today. So for professional students, anyone curious about responsible investing and sustainable finance, this is a course for you.
Fabulous.
Right? A course on Excel Essentials for the Workplace for persons who use Excel. That course is just to make you better at that.
Mm-hmm.
A course in hedge fund administration, valuation, operations, and compliance. And of course, these are taught by persons in the field.
Right.
All right. And you get a certificate at the end of that.
Talk about that briefly, the collaboration with business professionals who obviously have risen through the ranks in their respective careers, but they are giving back through teaching.
Through teaching. So we want persons who are really in the area. And when I had a graduation for the last cohort, and the person said, no, we love the teachers. They were really into it. Mm-hmm. And I haven't mentioned this course, elderly care course.
Yes.
Which we have offered. We had 17 students because we can't have a large number because that course involves theory and practice.
Indeed.
So the persons who do that course go and do the practicums at HSA and other such settings.
Wonderful.
All right. So the next cohort will be in January because of the nature of that course.
Right.
All right. But bear in mind, persons are very interested in learning how to take care of the elderly.
That's wonderful.
And this course prepares you for that.
That's wonderful.
All right. We also have practical cybersecurity, protecting data and reducing risk. All right. So persons who want to learn how to strengthen their organization security posture with hands-on cybersecurity skills, this course is for you. Austin, there's this course I want to get persons interested. It is called The Leadership Journey, Leading with Character, Courage, and Conviction. And it's for persons who really want to delve into how to be an ethical leader. All right, how to bring ethics to the workplace, and that's very needed.
Absolutely.
All right, so it emphasizes character, courage, and conviction. The person who teaches it, Dr. Robinson, is trained in the John C. Maxwell High Road Leadership Principles, and she wants to teach persons about it, how to bring these critical elements into the practice of leadership. All right. There's also a course for persons who are supervisors, supervisory success strategies for first-time managers. So these are the courses, the short courses for this semester, all right? And I want persons to become interested, go and get registered for these courses. They're very reasonably $650 really for each course.
Sure, indeed.
And at the end of it, you get a certificate and you have something to work with.
Absolutely. And more importantly, the knowledge that is gained from these courses, persons are earning hundreds of thousands of dollars on the workforce today by having these skills under their belt. So for a mere pittance of, academic learning, you could set yourself up to earn some, rather very civilized, let me say, earnings in the workforce.
And by the way, these courses are also online, meaning that you can come on campus, that's fine, but you can also do it online.
Fantastic.
Right? It's taught in both ways.
Well, that's where I wanted to go, because whilst we don't have the time to sort of repeat all of the courses and all of the classes and all of the opportunities that the University College of the Cayman Islands is doing, has been doing, and will be doing now as we celebrate 50 years.
50 years, yes.
But give our listening audience the web address so they can let their fingers do the walking and their mind can expand from the offerings that are available there.
UCCI.com. They'll go to UCCI website. In fact, we're going to be sending flyers as from Wednesday across the society. So persons can actually just go on and click a flyer and register right there too, to make it accessible to everybody.
Wonderful.
All right?
We talked about, obviously, your collaboration with persons within the professional industries who come in and teach classes that are relevant, real-world relevant to the skills in high demand here in Cayman that can lead to not only entry-level jobs, but management and executive-level jobs within companies operating in the Cayman Islands. But you also deal with a number of associations and organizations. And now I'd like to transition to one such association, the Caribbean Sociological Association, or CASA, which you, the University College of the Cayman Islands, will be partnering to present the 5th annual conference of CASA, which is a sociological association. Maybe start with, in the first instance, what is sociology?
Well,
and what is contained in this conference? That
right. Sociology is all around us, really. Sociology has to do with the social forces, we say, that affect our behavior.
Yes, social interaction.
Precisely, human behavior, right? We don't realize it sometimes how we are affected by such things like social class. The fact that, for example, you are in the upper class, as you certainly are, and that's you I'm talking now,
Me?
Yeah.
Little old me? No, man. I'm a little bitty, man.
Anyway.
You must be talking about brother. Ellio, maybe. Yes. Now, that sounds more like his upper crust. I'm just a little bitty.
You take something as a concept like social class.
Yes, sir.
We say in sociology, one is just accidentally born in a context. You didn't choose your parents, did you? But the fact of social location affects one's life in so many ways. I mean, take, for example, something even as social class and family size. We know, for example, that as you move up in the social class, family size gets smaller, right?
Right.
We know it has an impact on educational level and all, so many things. Even what you eat, what you do for fun, that kind of thing. All of these are affected by social class. So we're talking about how human behavior is affected by things like family background and gender issues and things like that. A good example of sociology is a study that was done by Jordan Ford. And it's a study that we talk about many times.
Yes.
Yeah, because
the distinguishing characteristics of
the predisposing.
The predisposing, thank you, characteristics.
Predisposing factors for criminal behavior in the Cayman Islands.
Yes.
By Jordan Ford.
Yes.
Criminology is a branch of sociology, and she was brought down quite a few years ago to study what are the factors that push persons towards northwards.
Yes.
So when she came with an eye for looking at the social forces. What's going on in the school system? What's going on in the family? Do they have fathers? Things like that. And she put together a significant report, which today is still very important.
Absolutely.
Right? I was trying to get her back to come, but she couldn't come because of her other plans.
Right.
To reflect on that work. So sociology, in essence, is really what are the things that affect our behavior.
Indeed. Well, whilst you were unable to get Dr. Yolanda Ford, I'm delighted to say, and of course you probably know this, but someone who you also know and certainly knows you is listening, our very good friend, Dr. Teresa Picarin.
Oh, yes.
First of all, she's listening. She says hello to you, Dr. Livingston. So hi back to Dr. Picarin. But she's also going to be participating in Challenging Minds as part of the sociological conference.
Yes, definitely.
Now, this conference will take place at the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. I see here from the 24th to the 26th of September.
To the 26th of September. The Caribbean Sociological Association. I'm the current president of that association. Every year we have a conference in another country. For example, last was in Jamaica, this year is right here in Cayman Islands. We have over 60 papers that will be presented over these days. The keynote presenter will be, the keynote address will be delivered Wednesday the 24th at 6 p.m. at the Sir Vassar Johnson Hall. But the conference itself begins at 1 o'clock. But the keynote, because persons are coming, of course, after work, want to have a big event. The keynote is to be delivered by Dr. Alyssa Trotz.
Mm-hmm.
And she's coming to us from the University of Toronto, where she's a professor of women and gender studies. And she'll be focusing on transnational migration, remittances, and diaspora engagement. As you mentioned, Dr. Teresa, she knows her very well. They were at school together.
Okay.
Right, but she's a terrific speaker, and she brings a level of analysis that I think will be very, very useful. But apart from that presentation, we have panels that cover areas like gender justice, AI and education, Caribbean family dynamics. We have quite a few panels that cover sports sociology. That's going to be a big thing there. Youth development, migration identity, masculinities, crime and justice, prison systems. The paper that looks at different ways in which Caribbean governments look after the people, different welfare systems, and a whole 60 different papers that will be presented. And we're saying to persons, you can't afford to miss this.
No, not at all.
What we've tried to do is to make it very, very accessible. So for persons outside of Cayman who are coming to Cayman for the conference, it's $150. But for persons whilst they're in Cayman, it's $50.
Fabulous.
$50.
You cannot use expense as a reason to miss this conference. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the 5th Annual Conference of the Caribbean Sociological Association. But we do need a pause. Keep it locked. We'll be back.
Bobo.
The BBC's From Our Own Correspondent.
In today's Russia, no one is allowed anywhere near the political stage if they pose a serious challenge to Vladimir Putin.
Stories and reflections from our reporters around the world.
There is a major sense of insecurity here.
More people are coming in from Sudan every day. From Our Own Correspondent from the BBC.
The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo FM.
How can we understand the world better?
The BBC World Service is a window onto the wider world.
A vantage point from which to survey a new horizon.
News, reports, and analysis from around the world.
Stories we think matter.
Different people from different societies.
We get to the heart of global issues.
News, stories, and global perspectives from the BBC World Service.
The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo FM.
Welcome to our newsroom here in central London. We place ourselves here at a little desk right in the thick of things.
OS from the BBC.
We can catch the very latest news from our colleagues, not just in this enormous room, but also from our colleagues around the world.
I'm in the room where they're treating children.
This is a combat zone.
The situation after the typhoon is very complicated.
It was a very tense situation.
OS from the BBC.
The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo FM. This is Bobo 103.1, powered by Health Services Authority.
At Health Services Authority, they are committed to caring for you. They are Cayman's largest and longest standing healthcare provider, offering the most comprehensive range of inpatient, outpatient, and public health services at 9 different locations across all 3 islands.
Across Cayman on 103.1 FM, online, and on your smart speaker. The home of the BBC World Service. This is Bobo 103.1.
BBC News, hello, I'm Eileen McHugh. Survivors of an earthquake that killed more than 800 people and injured thousands in eastern Afghanistan have spent a night in the open as rescue efforts continue. Dozens of helicopters have been used to lift the injured out of the area. The hospital in the city of Jalalabad, where the wounded have been taken, is struggling to cope with the influx. Here's Syed Nizami of the BBC's Afghan service.
The worst damage was in the mountain areas in Nurgal district in Kunar province. Entire village were destroyed. Rescue teams couldn't reach them until morning because the road were blocked and helicopter couldn't land in the mountain at night. Many people have died because they were trapped under the rubble and couldn't be rescued in time. I saw the post in Facebook. They're saying in one village, every 10 minutes there is a funeral.
A flotilla carrying hundreds of pro-Palestinian activists bound for Gaza has set sail again from Barcelona after encountering stormy weather. The 20-vessel flotilla is aiming to break Israel's naval blockade of Gaza and deliver humanitarian supplies to the territory. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro has said that the United States has sent 8 military vessels and a submarine to intimidate his country in what he described as a serious threat to regional peace. Speaking in Caracas, Mr. Maduro said the U.S. warships were carrying 1,200 missiles. He said Venezuela was prepared to defend itself.
Venezuela is facing the greatest threat our continent has seen in the last 100 years. It is an exceptional, unjustifiable, immoral and absolutely criminal threat. They have wanted to move toward what they call maximum pressure, in this case military, and in the face of maximum military pressure, we have declared maximum preparedness for the defense of Venezuela.
The Mexican President, Claudia Sheinbaum, has delivered her first annual State of the Nation address more than a year after she took office. During that time, she has overseen judicial reforms in which every judge and magistrate in the country has been chosen by direct ballot. With more, here's Will Grant from Mexico City.
On her relationship with the Trump administration, she argued that Mexico had avoided the high tariff rates imposed on other nations, and in fact was among the countries with the lowest tariff rates in the world. On security, her administration was working with the United States, she said, in a spirit of mutual trust, respect for sovereignty and territoriality, and in cooperation without subordination. Mexico is respected around the world, she added, and concluded with the line that we're going well and we're going to get better.
Will Grant reporting. World News from the BBC. Polls have closed in Guyana in presidential and congressional elections that will shape the future of one of the world's fastest-growing oil-producing economies. The incumbent, Irfan Ali, has promised to use the recently discovered oil wealth to reduce poverty. The main opposition candidate, Aubrey Norton, has accused the government of allowing the cost of living to rise sharply. The final stage of the trial of the former Brazilian president, Jair Bolsonaro, is beginning later on Tuesday at the Supreme Court in Brasilia. Mr. Bolsonaro has been accused of plotting a military coup after losing a tightly contested election to his left-wing rival, President Lula da Silva. Prosecutors say he encouraged thousands of his supporters to storm government buildings in January 2022. El Salvador has introduced a new school disciplinary code requiring students to say please and thank you to their teachers and to wear conservative haircuts. The newly appointed Education Minister, Carla Trigueros, an army officer, has demanded that all shoes are polished and uniforms clean. Students face grade penalties if they do not comply. The Swedish footballer Alexander Isak has confirmed that he is signed for the English Premier League champions Liverpool for a British record transfer fee. Warren Bull reports.
After months of speculation and negotiations in the off-season, Newcastle United finally allowed their star striker to go to Liverpool for around $170 million. Alexander Isak, who's 25, is widely considered one of the best strikers in the world. Standing at 1.92 m with electric pace and silky skills, he's the epitome of the modern forward, able to dominate even the best defences in the air and on the ground. The Sweden international scored 23 goals in the English Premier League last season, helping Newcastle qualify for the European Champions League. Now Liverpool hope he'll provide the same quality for them.
BBC World News.
The views and opinions expressed on Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of Stingray Media, its staff, or contributors. Callers to the program accept full responsibility for the views expressed. The show host and affiliates are not liable for any statements made or any harm claimed. All callers to the program indemnify Straight Talk from all claims. Offensive, defamatory, or unlawful content will not be tolerated. Be a part of the conversation by calling 745-2626. Now, here's Straight Talk with Austin and Ellio on Bobo 103.1.
And welcome back, K-Man, to more Straight Talk here on Bobo 103.1 FM and simulcasting live over YouTube and Facebook under the key search words Straight Talk Radio Show. You can also find us streaming live on the ACT Cruise Tourism page or on our own webpage, www.straighttalk.ky. I'm your host, Austin Harris. My colleague and co-host, Ellio Solomon, is on leave. It is 7 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, and we continue our very insightful conversation with interim president of the University College of the Cayman Islands, Dr. Livingston Smith. But for those of you in Radioland who are enjoying the conversation and maybe have a question or a comment for our guest, the phone lines are available to you. You can either reach out to us at 745-2626. That's the number in studios, and share your voice with ours to say a kind word to Dr. Smith. Or if talking isn't your thing, you can reach out to us on our WhatsApp line, 928-2562. And from there, you can either share a traditional WhatsApp text message, or you can get creative and send me a WhatsApp audio note. Either way, they all end up in the same place. We would love to hear from you. Just very quickly, as we recap our conversation prior to the last break, we ended on our focus on the upcoming 5th Annual Conference of the Caribbean Sociological Association, or CASA, which will take place at the University College of the Cayman Islands, Sir Vassal Johnson Hall, between the 24th and 26th of September. The conference begins at 12:30 p.m. on Wednesday, the 24th, and runs just for 2 days. It's a very short conference, but if you've ever wanted to learn more about interpreting, understanding, and resolving development problems in the Caribbean, whether it be in the wider Caribbean or here at home, well, this conference is for you. And as our guest pointed out, the keynote presentation will be delivered by Dr. Alyssa Trotz, Professor of Caribbean Studies at New College and the Director of Women and Gender Studies at the University of Toronto. The subject in which Dr. Trotz will be speaking on will be transnational migration, remittances, and diaspora engagement. So whether you're looking broadly at the region or arguably even more closely here at home, this subject, like every subject we've been engaging with this evening with our guest, Dr. Livingston Smith, is relevant to our lives here in the Cayman Islands, and we encourage you to be involved with it, whether as a student or, in this case, for the upcoming conference, as an attendee. You can find more details on this conference and others simply by logging on to the university webpage. Registration is only $50. This is for persons in the Cayman Islands. This covers lunch for the day's event. And, you know, if not just lunch that feeds your stomach, but arguably the kind of lunch that feeds your mind and your soul, that is why you really want to attend and not miss this conference. But Dr. Livingston, with about 20 minutes remaining, again, we have so much catching up to do. We're going to definitely have to get you back. We haven't even talked about the accolades of some of your professors who just last week I had the pleasure of celebrating and applauding for their achievements. But maybe we'll cover it in the next 20 minutes as we, again, focus in on the 50th anniversary celebrations, which the University College of the Cayman Islands will be celebrating arguably all year. And I suspect there are a number of events and other planned opportunities to both introduce people to UCCI, but also perhaps share the relevance, the value that UCCI represents in our society, in our country, and more importantly, in the lives of future generations of Caymanians. Dr. Livingston.
Thank you so much. I want to before I even go to the 50th and some more about the conference, to mention our Performing Arts program, because this is one of the things that have really taken off at UCCI. Just now, for example, our dance company was at in Barbados at Carifesta, and Dr. Monica Lawrence and her team are doing a great job. You'd have probably heard about our annual feast of dance and so on, and choir and so on, and steel band at the Hartwell Theatre.
Yes.
All right. So that's part of what we do at UCCI. Wow. Just to comment some more about the conference and to thank the government, we have two main ministries which have sponsored this event: Ministry of Culture and also the Ministry of Education. We also have our credit union, and we have indeed, and the Merrill Lynch Bank. Thanks. And we have smaller sponsors like Just MyFit and also AI Cleaning Services. So we thank these persons, companies for sponsoring this event. Remember now, it's September 24, 25, and 26. It begins at 12:30. You can, of course, get registered before that date. And the keynote will be at 6 o'clock on the 24th. And we have over 60 papers. Persons are coming from abroad, from the US, Canada, the Caribbean. We have many, many universities that are coming on campus. And of course, we have persons from the Cayman Islands who are doing papers also. You can't afford to miss it at all.
Sure.
Trying to make it accessible to everybody. We're inviting our senior students in high school to be part of that, and so on. But you did mention the fact that we're celebrating 50 years of existence, and we have quite a few events which some have gone and some are on the way. For example, we had our largest commencement July 1, and we have just finished our STEM camp, which was very, very successful. I want to invite persons listening to come on down on Sunday the 21st from 4 to 6 o'clock. We're going to be having our interdenominational church service. You know, Austin, we have to center what we do, at least I believe that, in the divine, in God. And this is really our way of making time to pray, to give thanks, to reflect, to express gratitude, to worship, music and scripture and word. So that is going to be on the 21st, the 50th anniversary interdenominational service. All right. Many different churches will be coming by to be part of that. All right.
And where's that going to be held?
It's going to be at the Vassar Johnson Hall.
Oh, fabulous. Fabulous.
Precisely, right on campus there.
Terrific.
Yeah. Later on in the year, we're going to have two lectures. One is going to be in November. That lecture will be on tertiary education. This is and in next year, our second and final lecture will be on the economy. All right. We're working through our marathon, which is going to be in January. We have a gala dinner coming up. We are relaunching our UCCI alumni. We're going to be launching our UCCI Foundation. We're just about to launch our UCCI high-level research team. There are persons, there's a professor from Yale and UWI who are coming with us to begin to do some serious research to add to what we're doing in terms of teaching and so on and so forth. All right? So these are some of the things that we're actually doing as part of the 50th anniversary celebration. So we're encouraging persons to be part of that and just help us to continue the work that we're doing at UCCI, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, again, it certainly sounds like a packed agenda, and all of it designed, again, to, I guess, intrigue and enlighten minds of all ages, but also draw ever closer attention to the vast opportunities that are available through and at the University College of the Cayman Islands, which I'm glad to say also includes spirituality,
yes,
and a reverence
ethical dimension,
an ethical dimension,
moral
absolutely.
dimension.
Indeed, I think that is so very valuable, and again fitting for the times that we live in.
Right.
And I just want to point out, you mentioned certainly something that took place over this, I guess it was part of the summer break, That's related to your STEM camp.
STEM camp.
And that's just, again, for the uninitiated, STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And whether it be AI, whether it be robotics, whether talk about solving critical questions, critical thinking, local problems, global problems, it really is a fabulous field of study. And it is not surprising, therefore, that the University College of the Cayman Islands, that though it may have started in humble beginnings, it certainly is expanding its length and breadth of curriculum opportunities to cover a wide area of studies that impact, again, life and persons living here in the Cayman Islands. So I can't say enough good things about this institution. And as always, we encourage you, if you're listening today, check out their website, which is, again, Dr. Liv?
UCCI.com.
So easy.
So easy. And
a caveman can do it.
And when I came here, we're talking about the role of university in the community.
Indeed.
And I wanted to say some more about that because in talking about the role of the university, one has to consider that from different levels and perspectives, right? For example, at the very basic level, it has to train people to fit into society and to take up their responsibilities in different fields.
Yes.
All right. So training of persons is critical, whether it be in business or finance or education, wherever, health science and so on. And because we want to reduce reliance on expatriate labor.
Right.
That's why it's so critical that we train persons commanding population in all of these areas. And that's why it's so vital also that there's excellence and quality assurance in what we're doing. All right, that's a very important level. But in addition to that, we do quite a bit of teaching, but more and more we want to do some hardcore research, and we're getting some into that also, just to ensure that we have data to go by to complement what we have currently. But there's also the function of cultural preservation. We have to promote local history. We have to promote traditions and cultural identity. We have to have that as part of the dialogue. All right. Certainly, we have to look at collaboration, regional and international. That's why I spoke about the number of universities that we are aligned with.
Yes.
All right. And that will be a part of that. Take, for example, we're going to be offering a certificate in sports management to be taught by Brock University because they're very strong on that. That's why we have all these workshops and events and things like that, because we have to engage the community in thought of different levels. So the school has to do different things. It has to be many things to many people as part of what we do at the University College there.
Well, arguably, listening just to the last hour and almost a half of conversation, I think the University College of the Cayman Islands has succeeded in that it has proven to be all things to all sorts of people in different walks of life, but all relevant and valuable things through the area of advanced and continued learning. So, again, congratulations to you and the institution. I wonder, in the few moments that we have left, if you had an opportunity, I'm sure you do on a daily basis, but to perhaps, spread the message even wider. Here in the Cayman Islands, we broadcast through all three islands, but of course through streaming video and audio. Arguably, the world is listening. Yeah. If you were to give a message to the next generation of Caymanians, particularly those coming out of high school, and you touched on a very key point. The goal that certainly has existed, arguably, at the political levels, and of course how institutions of higher learning like the University College of the Cayman Islands are helping the country accomplish that, is to reduce our dependence on foreign labor.
Yes.
And it starts with education. Speaking to the next generation, high school students in particular, who are thinking about starting their life. Should I start with a job? Should I continue my education? What would you say to them to guide their decision making?
I would say start right away. I would say to them that it is well known today that education is the thing that is the most valuable for any society. It transforms the individual, you yourself, and that transformation leads to the society being transformed. There are so many different facets to just get and educate. It's not just the book learning.
Mm-hmm.
It is the personal transformation that you go through in becoming an educated person who can think for yourself, who can have those analytical powers that you bring to what you do as a person. All right, so I would say, think about it. What do you want to do with yourself? Sometimes it means you might want to come to talk to an advisor. We have academic advisors. We have a person on campus who can take you through what we do and get you going. But most persons have some idea as to what they want to accomplish. All right? The key thing is that you begin.
Yeah.
All right? A journey starts with a few steps, but just begin that process. And think about what you can accomplish through your profession. We have TVET areas, just as vital as the other areas. All right? We have the areas in every facet of knowledge, in the social sciences, in the natural sciences, and so on that we spoke about. You just come and tell us what you want to do, and we'll get you there.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
As we prepare, and you mentioned that there is still space available.
Yes.
Those spaces are starting to fill up very quickly.
Definitely.
But there is still space available for that young person or not so young person looking to pursue higher learning, whether it be, again, career upliftment or an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. There's still the opportunity. Talk to us very quickly on the simple registration process that is still available right now.
You can go online and get registered online. Some persons prefer to come on campus. That's quite okay also. We have our admission officers who are on campus just waiting for you to come.
Right.
All right? You can even take my number. My number is 916-6462. Just call Livingston, 916-6462. Email me, lsmith@ucci.edu.ky, and I'll put you on to the right persons, or just come on campus and get into seeing what we actually are offering. If you want to do short courses, that's also okay. I just mentioned some of the short, but there are many other courses that persons can come to start with.
Right.
And you can use these courses to also get into the other areas and get through quicker. In fact, I should have mentioned our prior learning assessment, PLA, that we also have at UCCI. So persons who have been in industry, have been working, you can come and we can decide what can you do fewer in terms of getting your degree based on what you have done in the workplace and based on the knowledge that you've acquired over time.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I promised my friend at now 24 minutes past the hour of 5 o'clock, giving us about 6 minutes remaining. I promised my friend that I would not get him into too much political hot water by speaking at any great length to his new position, the interim president of the University College of the Cayman Islands. And he has not put me up to this. I've said it before, and this is not on you, Liv, but it's on me. Certainly having known you for a great many years, certainly having known the length and breadth of your career dedication with the University College of the Cayman Islands, having witnessed firsthand and arguably working alongside other professionals, educators, and the like at the University College of the Cayman Islands. Much of where we are as an institution today has come as a direct result of your hard work and participation, your collaboration, and certainly in terms of the position, the more substantive position, a permanent president. I think whether it be the quality of our discussion in the past hour and a half, or perhaps more important, the level of commitment and dedication that you have delivered in the over 20 years of service to the institution, you certainly have my vote for the substantive president of the University College of the Cayman Islands. And wherever possible, we will certainly do what we can to encourage the politicians to, I guess, take on our view of the world. But I will ask you one question. As we prepare for a new school year, and we've talked about the opportunities, we've talked about your message to young persons and not so young persons seeking to embark on tertiary education, expanding their learning, expanding their opportunities. And I'm sure you've had these conversations with your colleagues and your peers within the University College of the Cayman Islands. But to your peers, your fellow teachers, administrators, thought leaders at the University College of the Cayman Islands, as they prepare to embrace another school year, 2025-2026. What is your message to your colleagues going forward?
It would be just go for quality. Go for quality in all you do. We have to get better. We cannot at any moment believe that we have arrived. The world changes very fast, and we have to be there also with the changes taking place. That's why I emphasize high standards. That's critical. Our students must realize that what they do must be equal to what others do elsewhere, because we're part of this global village, this global community. That's vital. I would say to them, be centered on the students first. Right? It is their success that is critical. We are there because of them, not the other way around.
Yes.
You see? And that to me is very vital. We want to see students start, but we want to see them complete their program. We want to see them staying there, and the retention part of it is critical. That's why on the campus we say, okay, let us get in there, what's going on. If someone is absent, call them right away, please. What is going on? For example, commanders have an advantage, to be honest. I mean, once you are maintaining your GPA, you are paid for. So come on and let's do it together.
There are no excuses. There's certainly no room for that.
Precisely. And if, for example, you were to have a bad semester or a bad few semesters, we also have scholarships for you.
Right.
You see? So there's really no reason for you not to come and complete your education. And we can show you hundreds of persons who have come and have done it. So you have the examples to follow also.
Absolutely. Well, I can proudly say that not only have I thoroughly enjoyed this reconnect, Dr. Smith, again, it takes me back, very nostalgic to our years and years of friendship, but more importantly, our years and years of collaboration on the radio and yourself from the teaching perspective, the university perspective. And I'm delighted to say to the listening audience, based on this reconnect, this newly established, reestablished bridge, Straight Talk will certainly continue to do its part with continued collaboration and partnership with the University College of the Cayman Islands. So we'll have Dr. Livingston and his colleagues, and maybe even if we're fortunate enough, some of his students to appear on a regular basis on the program and making that happen. I just want to extend a debt of gratitude to Dr. Livingston for being our guest today, but also to my colleague Ellio Solomon. As I've mentioned, he's on leave, but he's working, and it was Ellio that certainly facilitated this interview. So I thank you to my friend who's undoubtedly listening, but still continuing to work hard, delivering quality programming for you, as he would say, for people who like to think. Dr. Livingston Smith, thank you for this terrific honor. You have been a fabulous guest, and I cannot wait until next time.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to other colleagues coming here to talk about what they do at UCCA.
The home of the BBC World Service, the most trusted news source in the world. This is Bobo 103.1. The following commercial messages are brought to you exclusively by Stingray Media.
Have your engine driving like never before with Pure 93, the highest pure octane fuel in Cayman, and available exclusively at Rubis service stations. Pure